Bro, why do you respond to all the hate, dude? Just ignore it, man. You're doing so well in life. Cause I'm insecure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm insecure. I'm a lead singer. I'm chronically online.
Ronnie Radke responding to hate comments with that audio is now giving me life. As always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And of course, make sure to follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. Even though I was absent for 2 weeks, I still posted videos on my social media, especially while I was in Mexico. So if you follow my Instagram, there is a Mexico highlight that you guys can check out. That is basically all the stories that I posted while I was out there. And of course, if you guys do not know how Instagram works, usually when you post stories, they tend to expire or, delete itself after 24 hours. But they decided to do this whole thing with the highlights where you can actually just keep it on your profile and you can still see them even though they're already archived. So yeah, definitely go check out my Instagram and TikTok for sure. But yeah, we actually did post it finally, the blog that I was talking about literally 2-3 weeks ago. And I know we're gonna talk about why I was absent in a bit, but the Mexico blog video is now available for you to watch on my YouTube channel. It is almost an hour long, but you get to see all of my adventures. So I'm not going to be talking about that whole Mexico trip. There's no point. The video is out there for you guys to go check it out. But in case if you guys haven't been updated on what's been going on with me, literally 2 weeks ago, Houston was hit with a tornado, which caused us to have no power from Friday to Monday. That meant no internet and there was no way for me to do the podcast. And so because of this, I feel like I jinxed myself since we were literally talking about tornadoes on our previous episode that we had when we were talking about the Twisters trailer. So I feel like because of this, we are going to have to smash 2 weeks worth of content, news, everything that's been going on in pop culture into this one episode that we're doing right now. So I don't care how long it's going to be. We're going to have to push through. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this episode started. So kicking off this episode, we need to talk about the most important news of them all. This episode is dedicated in memory of Kabusu. Of course, if you guys do not know who that is the Doge meme dog. He or she, I don't even know, but whoever passed away at the age of 18 years old. And I'm kind of sad. I've talked about, pets and everything before. I hate that they have a short lifespan compared to us humans. And so I'm like, when I say Cosmo, I'm like, you best believe you better be kicking for the next 20 years or 30, who knows, even though I know that's not gonna happen. But I try to make the best of it, appreciate the time that you have. If you have dogs, cats, whatever animal you have, except for birds tend to live longer than any other kinds of pets. I think there's even a bird that lives for 75, 100 years. I think maybe that's why Ronnie Radke and his girlfriend Saraya have birds. They have 3, 4 of them, I don't even know. But anywho, let's go ahead and move on to movies. Yes, I finally have a shit ton of information for you guys, especially in the TV category. But with movies, let me go ahead and start off with one thing, and I mentioned this on my blog video at the very end, but Godzilla -1. So I got an email from Fandango/Voodoo that apparently Godzilla -1 is now available to buy or rent. And I'm like, what? And call me old fashioned again. I think I prefer digital copies when it comes into a physical copy itself, because if I were to buy straight digital, I will only get the option of one language, and that is English. And you know me, I'm bilingual. Sometimes I do want to have the Spanish availability, especially like my dad who wants to rewatch some of these movies. So I was like, let me see if they have a physical copy available, Blu-ray, whatever, that comes with a digital copy of it as well. And when I started looking up, Godzilla -1 on Google, the first thing that shows up saying Godzilla -1 Netflix, and I'm like, what? I clicked on it and I probably like skimmed on the article for like not even a second until I went to Netflix and looked it up. And yes, Godzilla Minus One is also available on Netflix, and I'm talking like it is dubbed in English, Spanish, original Japanese is over there, and there's other languages that you can actually watch it if have other preferences. But I'm like, there's no excuse for you guys to watch it. They gotta have Netflix for free. You guys can get Netflix for free if you have T-Mobile. I don't know, talk to your cellular carrier at that point. But still, you guys need to understand that this movie is by far my favorite Godzilla movie. I mean, come on, it won an Oscar. I can finally say that. Yes, it won an Oscar. That's how great of a movie it was. So go check it out. I am ready to rewatch it, but I can't because my brain right now is too busy doing obviously the podcast, and we finished editing that video for my blog yesterday. But best believe once I finish with this podcast, I am gonna rewatch it until the point where my brain can't take it anymore. Now that's all I had to say about Godzilla Minus One. Let me go ahead and start off with that Mad Max Furiosa spoiler-free version. Of course, right now this movie did premiere last week during Memorial Weekend, and my dad really wanted to watch it because when we saw the Rotten Tomatoes score, it's like, oh my god, okay, it is worth watching. So as of right now, the Rotten Tomatoes score and the audience score is at 90%. Obviously, we already know it's a great ass movie. So these are my spoiler-free thoughts. I was not bored. I was more engaged into the movie and learned how Furiosa became a dangerous person with a purpose. I don't know about everybody else who has watched the movie, but for me, I think like the movie shots that they had were so awesome. Like it basically gave that George Miller presence that he does in other Mad Max movies. Now, Anya Taylor-Joy is a great person to follow Charlize Theron's character in the prequel. So this is how we learn how she grew up and where she came from. This movie did so well that even George Miller wants Hideo Kojima to make a Mad Max game. Now, Hideo Kojima is the one that made Death Stranding and Metal Gear Solid. So it would make sense why he would choose him over any other video game developers. Now, in Kojima's eyes, I'm pretty sure he already saw the movie because when he saw actor Tom Burke play Praetorian Jack in Furiosa, he could see him play Solid Snake if they ever do make a Metal Gear Solid movie. So I feel like the collaboration is there. They just need to make it happen. But yes, I do highly recommend for you guys to check out that movie. It is very interesting. It's so good. Even though it is like, 2.5 hours, it is worth it at the end of the day. So definitely go check out the movie if you guys have not done so. Now, let's go ahead and move it along. Yes, I have seen the promotion things that Deadpool and Wolverine are doing now, and I could not be any more happier. So I don't know if you guys already seen it. I already saw the commercial for the Heineken beer. The other one is where if you're actually in the movie theater, they're over there trying to shush someone whose phone's ringing, and I love it too. But the one that takes the cake is none other than the freaking popcorn bucket. They finally announced and showed it off, and I'm like, what the fuck? So Wolverine has a very wide mouth open to where the popcorn is supposed to go. You can definitely tell that this was inspired by the Denussi popcorn bucket. And of course, at the bottom, it literally says, designed by Deadpool. In my thoughts, with pleasure, literally. The comment section of the video that I saw on either Ryan Reynolds' social media account or even Hugh Jackman, people were saying, one Wolverine popcorn bucket with water, hold the popcorn. I'm like, sucios. As much as I love Deadpool, yeah, I'm not buying that. Of course, again, I don't collect popcorn buckets. Even the design itself, as hilarious as it looks, I'm still not gonna buy it. Unless if maybe they released one with Deadpool's mouth wide open, but even then, I'm like, it's still gonna collect dust. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna buy it just to get a laugh out of it. And, again, everybody's a fan of Deadpool at this point, so why not? I'm excited. I cannot wait for July already. Can you believe it? It's June. I have a month and a couple of days more to go so I can watch this movie and then we can talk about it. But anywho, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the new Beetlejuice 2 trailer, or maybe I shouldn't even say the actual name since I already said it once. Dun dun dun. But definitely go check out the trailer. Right now, I want to take a minute and appreciate Monica Bellucci's character, Lielers. Because, wow, she looks very stunning. Oh my god. And then if you pay close attention to her character, you see that she's missing a finger. And I'm like, that's why y'all need to go watch the first movie to understand what's going on right there. But anywho, I would say, like, when I was watching the trailer, I could not help but to notice that there were some 90s CGI that screams Tim Burton. But at the same time, it is a little bit scary that it could possibly kill the movie momentum. Because again, we're in the modern age. We shouldn't be seeing something like this. But at the same time, it is Tim Burton. So who knows? I also can't believe that William Dafoe is going to be in this movie. Like, oh my god, I'm ready. So, of course, Beetlejuice 2 is set to release on September 6th. Stay tuned because, yes, I will also be talking about it. Let's go ahead and keep it going. It is also confirmed that Venom: The Last Dance will be the last Tom Hardy-led movie. What does this mean? It means that this is it. I'm gonna have to take my Kleenex when I go watch this movie. But anywho, another thing that I also wanted to announce is that Mortal Kombat 2 has confirmed its release date on October 24th, 2025. To be honest, I need to rewatch the first movie because I don't remember most of it. I do remember the ending, but storyline wise, I am drawing a blank. Another thing that I also have for movie releases is that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 will be set to release on December 5th, 2025. We have so many movies coming out next year, like what the hell. They did not confirm if it is also going to be streaming on Peacock, kind of like what they did in the first one. Unfortunately, I am planning to watch this movie thanks to my curiosity, so there's that. In other news, Lionsgate confirmed another John Wick spin-off series, and this one will focus on Kane, who was on John Wick Chapter 4. I'm kind of worried that the spin-off series won't do well compared to the original John Wick movies, so we'll see. But again, it is part of it, so we get to learn about this particular character's background and how he became literally like a good ass headhunter. So there's that. Other things that I also wanted to talk about is Danny DeVito, for example, said in an interview that he is down to play Warrior in the Super Mario franchise. Honestly, someone booked this now because not only Danny DeVito is a national treasure, I do believe that he will be perfect for this role. Another thing I wanted to talk about is a picture that A24 released that involves The Rock during filming of this upcoming movie called The Smashing Machine. He looks unrecognizable. Number one, he has hair. I can't tell what they did with his face though, because again, it does not look like him. Maybe his nose is different, I can't tell, but for sure the eyebrows are a little bit thicker. I don't know, but good job on, I would say, maybe the costume department, because wow, I love how they do these transformations where people or celebrities are so unrecognizable. It's like, are you sure that's really them? And lastly, in the movies category, Knives Out 3 is coming to Netflix next year with Daniel Craig returning. And I did watch Glass Onion, now that I have Netflix, and I would say it was meh. So this announcement is also giving me the same feeling. Alongside with Craig, the cast includes Jeremy Renner, Mila Kunis, Glenn Close, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, and more. So for you guys that are interested in mystery movies, this movie is coming out soon, so be excited. Now, the next thing we wanted to talk about is already kicking off in the television series. The Last of Us Season 2 is now in production, and we got images of Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey reprising their roles. Now, if you see that one picture with Pedro and there's lights in the background, everybody who has played or seen the game know what's going to happen. HBO, you promised it wasn't going to be this season. There's also a clip of Bella Ramsey riding a horse with Isabella Merced, who is going to be playing Dina. It literally makes it look like the aftermath of what we do not want to see happen. So, all I'm saying is get a Kleenex ready when the series premieres next year. Dun dun dun. In other news, Nicolas Cage is returning as Spider-Man Noir now that MGM Plus is developing a series that will soon be available on Amazon Prime. Here's where it gets interesting. The series will be a live action one. Can we get Spider-Man 2099 with Oscar Isaac? Please and thank you. And since we're already talking about Spider-Man, another comic book series was planned to be developed but is now scrapped. That series was Silk Spider Society and was confirmed on November in 2022, and Sony Pictures Television was going to develop. Maybe there was not that much momentum going around, but at the same time it is Sony, so who knows. Now, for everybody that's fans of The Boys, we have some good news. The series has now been renewed for season 5, and all I'm asking is, please, for the love of God, do not end season 4 with a cliffhanger, because I'm already ready to watch it. Season 4 will be streaming on Amazon Prime on June 13th, so we are getting closer and closer to the date. Now we're turning our focus on Max, because apparently they have 2 projects coming up. One of them is that they're developing a prequel series called Welcome to Derry. Bill Skarsgård will be returning as Pennywise. And just when I was thinking that once chapter 2 of It was going to be over, that was it for the franchise. But I have mixed emotions only because I'm not sure if Stephen King will come in and help develop the story for this upcoming prequel. The other project is that they're also going to be developing a new series that is currently being filmed for the Dune franchise. Dune Prophecy will be streaming on Max soon and will be taking place 10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides. Now that I think about it, damn, how many prequels are there? Now let's go ahead and move it along with Marvel. They did confirm that the Agatha series is going to be set to release on September 18th with 2 episodes available to stream on Disney+. I'm over here thinking, are we finally gonna get events before or after WandaVision? Only time will tell. Daredevil Born Again will also be streaming on Disney Plus on March 2025, literally 2 years after they announced the series. But then again, SAG-AFTRA strike kind of delayed the moment, so there's that. Marvel also confirmed the development of a series that's going to be focused on Vision, and it is planned for 2026, with Paul Bettany returning to reprise the character. And I'm assuming this is going to be for sure after WandaVision. And again, if you have not watched the series, definitely go check it out, so maybe you get an idea of what possibly this series is going to be focused on. This next news is a little bit interesting for me. Giancarlo Esposito, also known as Gus Fring in Breaking Bad, says he is going to be getting a series with Marvel for a mystery character. I'm excited, but who could this possibly be? Is it like a hero or a villain? Some fans in the comment section of this announcement said that it might be either Doctor Doom, Green Goblin, or Professor X. What are your thoughts? I'm actually going to leave a Q&A option available on Spotify. If not, if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comment section. Since I already mentioned Gus Fring, let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of Breaking Bad. So the creator of that franchise and Better Call Saul, Vince Gilligan, is back in Albuquerque, New Mexico to film the upcoming series Pulse, which will star Rhea Seehorn. Say what you will, she will always be Kim Wexler to me. So I'm excited to watch it. I still haven't even watched the other series that they have with Giancarlo Esposito, so I need to keep up with that too. Now, aside from that, there are other talks, I don't know if this is rumor or confirmed, that there could potentially be another prequel series focusing on the 300, you know, the movie where it says, "This is Sparta." And supposedly, rumor has it that Zack Snyder will be returning to direct the whole series. Now, I'm pretty sure we will hear that phrase that I just mentioned again in the upcoming series if it does happen. And lastly, I do have one more thing to talk about, and this is focused on Yellowstone. So I feel like this momentum of the series is starting to die down. Why? Because I talked about it in a previous episode. So remember the drama of what I mentioned between the creator Taylor Sheridan and the rest of the cast? So Kevin Costner, who plays John Dutton, one of the main characters, he had an interview with Deadline, and he was talking about his upcoming movie, Horizon: An American Saga, in which he stars and directs. He said, quote, "Well, I haven't felt good about it last year with the way that they've talked about it. It wasn't truthful. So now I'm talking a little bit about what the real truth of it was. I made a contract for seasons 5, 6, and 7. In February, after a 2 or 3 month negotiation, they made another contract. They wanted to redo that one, and instead of season 6 and 7, it was going to be 5A and 5B, and maybe we'll do 6. They weren't able to do those. Horizon was set in the middle, but Yellowstone was first position. I fit Horizon in the gaps, and they just kept moving their gaps." Unquote. I will admit though, if you guys haven't checked out the last season of Yellowstone that's right now available on Peacock, it was not for me. I'm not surprised that, again, this whole series is going to go downhill afterwards because of all the conflict that's been going on. Honestly, it was great. Again, it kept, babies or, Cosmo more entertained than I did. But at the same time, it is what it is. And that's what happens when they prolong the series. They all die down at the end. But that's all I have for you guys on the television category. Now we're gonna go ahead and move it along to music. Starting off with Ghost. This was something I was supposed to talk about 2 weeks ago, so we're gonna talk about it right now. And they are already counting down for their upcoming music film, which again, I'm excited for, right here, right now. Even better news, they actually added more screenings for the countries where fans were complaining about. And now they're also spanning the dates from June 20th to the 22nd. And it's now going to be June 20th all the way to the 23rd, which is even better. Now, Argentina, unfortunately, will have to wait until June 27th and the 29th to watch it. But hey, better late than never. Another news that I also have for you guys. Till Lindemann is releasing a book called Am Sonntag muss ich sterben. I don't know if I pronounced that right. But it's basically translating to I have to die on Sunday. It's Sunday right now. Oh God. But he posted basically a description of what this book is. And it says it is 37 poems by Till Lindemann, illustrated with 15 bound original etchings by Bodo W. Kloss, 68 pages handmade paper, thread binding, and hardcover in large format. The book is housed in a decorated box approximately 40 by 50 by 6 centimeters with an additional removable etching in a separate folder. The cassette and the portfolio are covered with dark linen. Each book contains a fragment of the original etching plates. Another book in small format is inserted into a recess in the bottom of the cassette. The book, entitled Lieber Fritz, nimm meine Hand, contains unpublished verses that Till Lindemann wrote to his grandson in 2012 and illustrated himself. Price of this extraordinary book art object is 3,000 euros. Numbers will be allocated according to the date the order is received. By the way, 3,000 euros is basically $3,256.98 in USD. I checked currency converter, so there's that. It apparently also says that only 99 copies will be sold, signed by him and the illustrator. I'm sure they're sold out by now, but if you want to order or check to see if it's still available, you will have to email buy one, literally number, not like the letter spelled out, buy one of 99 at outlook.com. Sounds very sketchy, but that's him. The post also consisted like pictures of behind the scenes as the book was being created. Honestly, again, if there was maybe like a small format, I would probably buy it if it wasn't like $3,000. But this is definitely like a collector's item, especially for people that are like die-hard Till Lindemann, maybe even slash Rammstein fans. So, go check it out if you want to. But again, it is posted on his Instagram. And since we're already talking about Rammstein, I want to take a minute and say congratulations to Mulu Photography for his engagement. I actually got to see his video on my For You page on TikTok, where he posted a clip of him holding his new fiance's ring, and in the background, Rammstein is performing. Like, what the fuck? I'm manifesting this. I don't care if it's even Rammstein, if it's Slipknot or Ghost. I would like to be proposed during a concert. Just saying. But now let's go ahead and move it along. In other news, Bad Omens fans are sad that the band had to cancel their tour dates due to the lead singer, Noah Sebastian, experiencing extreme burnout. They posted saying, quote, "I've been experiencing what can only be described as extreme burnout. While all the touring and work that we put into this album cycle the last several years have been so gratifying and rewarding, it was also pushed me to the limits of my mental bandwidth, putting my mind and body in conflict with one another in ways that are becoming detrimental to my health on the road. That said, after heavy consideration, we've decided that we need to cancel all of our performances coming up this summer in Europe and the UK. This decision is in the best interest of my health and well-being and of the long-term sustainability of Bad Omens. We need to protect and restore all of our energy that will be demanded of us again soon as we transition into the next chapter. We know this will be disappointing, but we ask you that you respect our choice to put health first. Noah, Bad Omens." So let's talk. It's gonna be like a big discussion, but I'll try my best to keep it short and simple. Now, musicians, I believe, all go through so much stress that we do on our everyday lives, because at the end of the day, it is a job. Some people do it, some people, enjoy it, and then there's other people that just hate it. Example, Kurt Cobain. But, with Noah, it's a complicated situation because not a lot of musicians put their mental health first. Of course, those that do push through do end up in, substance abuse, they become alcoholics, and then there's that big history of people just, calling it quits in life. But at the same time, we are in the new generation of musicians where I feel like for many fans, it's new that, again, they're putting mental health first. But that's the thing. Our generation, we do care about that. It is big, and, it keeps us sane so we can still keep satisfying, the fans. So I'm glad that they're doing that. Maybe it wasn't just Noah. Maybe there's other musicians, in Bad Omens that were feeling the same way. And they just say, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and just cancel. But that's the thing, guys. If you're a fan of Bad Omens, me, I'm not that big. But again, I respect them so much for making that decision. You got to understand that at the end of the day, you're getting your money back. I don't care if you're gonna get all upset, like I just wanted to see them. If I were to get the news like, oh, Slipknot or Rammstein or Ghost, they cancel their tours, I would be understanding, because again, musicians are humans. All celebrities are humans, and I think I talked about that in the past when we were discussing about Sleep Token. And I think for me, again, I respect a little bit more for Bad Omens. And hopefully, again, they are going to be coming back. They need this. And so we just have to give them that privacy. And I don't want people saying, oh my God, I'm not going to be a fan. Well, you're still going to listen to Bad Omens at the end of the day. That's how you're still supporting them, by listening to their music. So there's that. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. So hopefully Noah Sebastian gets a speedy recovery, I guess, but take as much as time as you want. He is a quite different person. He's not one of those people that you will see him in beaches and all of that. I think his best way to, just recover mentally is like, I don't know, I could see him reading a book or making dumb videos like he used to back then. I don't know if he's still gonna do that, but he's mostly like introverted, so I noticed that about him. All I can say is best of luck, and hopefully, you know, again, they come on tour and maybe eventually I might see them, who knows. All right, moving along. While I was in Mexico, I got to see on my TikTok feed a lot of clips of Metallica's show in Munich. Now, the awesome shot was when they started performing Master of Puppets, and all you can see is the thunder taking over the atmosphere. I love it even more that when I went to the comment section, fans were saying that the spirit of Cliff Burton, the former faces of Metallica, was taking over and giving Metallica like a boost for the concert. It was awesome. Definitely go check it out. And then they still performed in the rain. Like, wow. Another thing I also wanted to talk about in the music category is that Bring Me the Horizon announced their new album, Posthuman Next Gen. And they released it by posting a few pictures of the lead singer, Ollie Skies, in anime butler outfit. I think I talked about it in the past and I wanted to see more pictures of it. It was hilarious and it was the best way to promote the album, if you ask me. If you haven't done so, definitely go check it out. I saw it on TikTok where you see all that series of those pictures. I think my favorite one was where Oliver Skies was like in Burke Reynolds pose and still in that outfit, and on the top you see him like signing, quote, "To the best fans in the world, Ollie," with a heart shape. And I'm like, I can't with this band. Like, it's so serious but unserious at the same time. I still need more content of that. Please and thank you. But yeah, definitely go listen to their new album. Again, it's Posthuman Next Gen, and it's available for you guys to listen to now. Now, speaking of other things in music, and the last thing I needed to talk about is Eminem. Yeah, what? I know, right? So Eminem released a new song called Houdini, and the music video, oh my god, it was basically paying tribute to the Without Me music video. Everything was still the same, except, you know, we have old Slim Shady and, you know, modern Slim Shady, and still mimicking a few things here and there. It was still hilarious. And all I gotta say is he still got it. And again, Eminem, he's like the most serious guy too, but in this music video, I cannot take him serious. And since we're already talking about Eminem, I also wanted to say congratulations to his daughter, Haley. Can you believe it? She just got married. And he walked her down the aisle and everything. I'm like, oh my god, Haley's all grown up. And yeah, you know, that's life. But congratulations, Eminem now has a new son-in-law. I feel bad for him, but still, as long as the guy's knees don't get weak, he'll be good. So that's all I have for you guys in the music category. Let's go ahead and talk about gaming. First things first, gamers, take a break because GTA 6 will not be releasing until fall 2025. So yeah, we have more than a year to go. So yeah, y'all can continue making those comments, like anything that's history making moments that happened before GTA 6. So there's that. Anywho, the next thing I also wanted to talk about is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. It has been confirmed and they released like a series of teasers. I think there's only 2 that I saw. One of them is called the Truth Lies trailer, which features like the 90s presidents, and we're talking Bill Clinton, George A. Bush, and then I forgot who the other one was. And then the other trailer is called Open Your Eyes, and honestly that was giving me like 90s commercial end moments. So I feel like the franchise is getting slowly closer to the modern era if you think about it. But honestly, me personally, I'm not big on Call of Duty anymore. I'm sure there are other fans that are like excited for it, but to me, like the momentum ended as soon as like Black Ops 4 and then so forth and so forth started to come out. Black Ops 3 was probably like where it ended. Like I think that was one of my favorite games to play. But other than that, I'm like, damn, they need to stop with the Call of Duty franchise. But people are still going to be playing it. And since we're already talking about Call of Duty, I don't know if you already know that there was a cheat maker that is now being ordered to pay Activision $14+ million in damages. I actually read the comment section on IGN's post, and it had a mixed response because there were some people that were for it and then there were some that were against it. Of course, there are people that actually did buy the cheat codes just to, you know, make the game laggy, you know, shoot from a distance, and all of a sudden they're shooting somebody that's like on the opposite side of the map. And then there's the people that were against it because it's like, bro, like, just get better. There's no need to be making like cheat codes and all of that so you can get better. So me, I'm like, this is why I don't play Call of Duty anymore. Now we're going to make a shift and talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. So they just released their trailer, and all I gotta say is the graphics look really good on the trailer, but my hopes are very low when it comes to the actual gameplay. I think Ubisoft has that reputation at this point. Once I was watching the trailer, it looks like we're going to be having our first female protagonist in the franchise, which I guess is history making. On the description of the YouTube trailer, it says, quote, "In Assassin's Creed Shadows, you will live the intertwined stories of Naoi, an adept shinobi assassin from Iga province, and Yasuke, a powerful African samurai of historical legends. Against the backdrop of the turbulent late Sengoku period, this remarkable duo will discover their common destiny as they usher into the new era for Japan." The game is available to pre-order and will be released on November 15 of this year. Now, I could not help but to notice there were many people comparing this game to the Ghost of Tsushima. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but you know which game I'm talking about. And overall, I feel like the game had negative response, like towards Assassin's Creed, not the other one. I don't know, maybe it had to do because of the pricing of the game. Like, for example, you could pay $18 a month for Ubisoft Plus and have access to the game on day one and literally be an Ultimate Edition instead of paying the $130. That and the legitimacy of the storyline. You know, a lot of people were complaining about Yasuke. Apparently there was no such thing as African samurais, but again, it is a game, and so when it comes to legitimacy at this point, I don't even know. For those that are fans of Assassin's Creed or are interested, it's out there, so do as you will. I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game, probably never. I've seen the gameplays, but it wasn't my cup of tea, so I was like, meh. So there's that. But anywho, let's go ahead and move it along to a different game, Silent Hill 2. So they released some images of the upcoming game, and I'm not shitting you, it was still giving me creepy vibes as always. So Silent Hill 2 will be available on PS5 and PC on October 8th of this year. So if you guys are fans of that franchise, definitely go check it out. Or just even horror games, go check it out. Another thing I also wanted to talk about. I barely got back, right? So I haven't had time to just like actually settle down and do things like, you know, play Fallout like I always do. But I did hear this. Fallout and Fortnite collaborating. And I'm like, what the fuck? You guys already know how I feel about Fortnite. Why is it still relevant? Why are people still playing it at this point? Like, just move on to other things. But then again, I'm already hearing the part where, oh, well, you're still playing Fallout 4. And I'm like, well, yeah, I haven't played that game in such a long time. So there's that. But because of the success of the Fallout series, Fortnite is taking advantage of the whole thing and just say, you know what, let's go ahead and collab. I am tempted just by a little bit of me just updating my Nintendo Switch and just check out what they have to offer. At the same time, I'm like, really, Lielers? Like, why bother? Come on. If I do happen to do it, I'll let you guys know my thoughts next week, potentially. That now that, you know, laundry's done, I am packed, you know, everything's back to normal, I'll see what the whole deal is. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys on the gaming category, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up with wrestling. And I cannot believe how long we've been doing this episode. It's not even been an hour, and I was expecting it for it to be over an hour. So I only have 4 things to talk about because I missed SmackDown for the past 2 weeks because of the electricity and also because I was flying to Mexico. Raw, I only managed to catch probably like the last hour this past Monday when I got back from my trip. So I'm not really up to date on what's been going on. I'm slowly trying to get, informed and see what I missed. So I'm only going to cover with what I know. And also the stuff with the King and the Queen ring tournament, we're going to get with that eventually. It's not going to be everything because, again, I still haven't even rewatched it. So there's that. But I want to kick off with AEW news. And if you guys do not know, MJF has officially made his comeback. So during the pay-per-view of Double or Nothing, it looked like, he was coming out to re-spark his friendship with Adam Cole. And next thing I know, MJF just decided to do a little cheap shot at Adam Cole and kind of made it look like MJF is now babyface. But another thing I also wanted to point out is how MJF came out. Like, he was dressed in this black leather jacket, and on top of that, it was like a jean sleeveless jacket. And everybody started comparing it to Triple H's attire that he had back then during the Attitude Era. And I'm like, is MJF in his Triple H era? But it's still not, clicking, but I guess. So that kind of settles down the rumors because apparently people were saying that he was going to go to WWE. But at the same time, I'm like, I highly doubt it. I don't think that was going to happen anytime soon. So there's that. Now, the other thing I also wanted to talk about, and I put it on the wrestling category because it's Saraya, but at the same time, it is under the podcast. So if you guys do not know, there is a podcast by this person called Bunny XO, and her podcast is called Dumb Blonde Podcast. So Bunny XO is Jelly Roll's, the country singer's wife, and she's very cool. I love her. She's an Aquarius. I mean, come on. And so she usually has a lot of people, doing interviews. One particular I didn't mention, I want to say, in one of my episodes is that she did an interview with Bam Margera. So that was a whole different topic, but I'm not going to talk about it on this episode. This one is just primarily about Saraya and, basically them forming a friendship and talking about things that, other people had thoughts about. Like, one in particular is Bunny asking Saraya if her and Ronnie Radke from Falling in Reverse are ever going to be tying the knot anytime soon. And Saraya's response was basically like, she's not going to pressure him. If it happens, it happens, which is pretty good, But I couldn't help but to notice that she made a little comment that, her brain is also like any day now. But I'm just like, oh God, Saraya, no. I do have high hopes that, they will eventually tie the knot. But what the hell, Ronnie? What's going on over here? And she also dropped like this massive bombshell that I was not expecting to hear. But apparently, so Saraya one time didn't even realize that she was pregnant until all of a sudden she was going through what they call an ectopic pregnancy, to the point that she was literally about to die. She described all of that moment that she was having to the point that, again, it was a scary experience. But she was talking about her struggles of getting pregnant. And I feel like that's very common with wrestlers, women in particular too, especially once they're over 30. They have difficulties having kids. But with her experience, it looks like she might not able to. But who knows? Who knows? And even Bunny talked about, with Saraya's experience that she already had 2 of them. So it's like, okay, maybe eventually both of them will be able to have a safe pregnancy later on in life. That conversation, though, that they had was very entertaining. So if you guys do want to check it out, I think Bunny released a video podcast for y'all to check out on her YouTube channel. So there's that. Now, let's go ahead and move it along to WWE. And I mentioned King and Queen of the Ring. I still haven't been able to rewatch it for the same reason. Whenever this was airing, I was in Mexico. And it was so funny because I only got to catch a little bit of it. And I think it was Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. And whenever I caught just the little bit of it, me and my dad were already at the movie theaters watching Mad Max Furiosa. So I was like, damn it, I can't watch it. It's either the movie or this. And, of course, we already know who won. And I'm not happy about it, but I get that the storyline that they're trying to do with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, because I have a feeling Rhea is gonna come back before SummerSlam, and it's gonna be Liv and Rhea for the World Women's Championship, and then potentially the custody of Dominic Mysterio. And so that was the last thing I watched whenever Raw was wrapping up. And then, you know, I was getting ready to go to sleep because Raw ended it like nothing happened between Liv and Dominic until I went on social media, and then bam, you know, the next thing you know, she's over there kissing Dominic, and Dominic's like, and people now were like, wait a second, isn't Dominic married? And I'm like, but when it was Rhea, everybody was hating on Dom because everybody wishes that they were Dominic and living that best life, you know. I don't know. But anywho, that was the only thing I watched. Other than that, you know, eventually later that day, you know, whenever I finally got back to the hotel, I got to see the results of the premium live event. And I got to see that Gunther and Nia Jax are now, you know, king and queen of the ring. So before the premium live event even started, Triple H did make an announcement that whoever wins the tournament, whether if it's in the men or the women, they have a guaranteed opportunity for a championship match for their respective brand at SummerSlam. With that being said, Gunther obviously is on Raw and Nia Jax is on SmackDown. Here's the thing about Gunther though, because we're going to be having another premium live event called Clash of the Castle, and they already scheduled a match between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. Who knows who will win on that one, but I still have a feeling it's still going to be Damian, because I believe that when SummerSlam hits, it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. I already said it. Quote me on it if it happens. But then if you think about it, if it is Damian Priest versus Gunther at SummerSlam, that storyline doesn't make any sense, but at the same time, it's going to cook because they're both really good. But if you ask me, Gunther really does deserve a World Heavyweight Championship around his waist. Because, come on, man, he was the longest Intercontinental Champion of all time. He deserves it. At this point, there's a lot of people that deserve champions, and I'm over here still upset that it hasn't happened. There's LA Knight, and then there's Jey Uso, so there's that. But anywho, in Nia Jax's case, it's gonna be Bayley, obviously, you know, hands down, because there's not really that much of competition on SmackDown. No matter what they try to do with Bayley, it's gonna lead up to that in SummerSlam. Do I believe that Nia Jax might win? Possibly not. I don't know why. I feel like Bayley still needs a better opponent, but in SmackDown it's just not it. The only person I can think of from the top of my head that probably does deserve a championship opportunity, that probably needs to win it, is Tiffany Stratton. That's it. That's all I can think of, because everybody else, it's like they need a lot of work. So I don't know, we'll see. SummerSlam is not until August, so we still got a couple months to go. And lastly, before we wrap it up, I needed to talk about AJ Styles really quick, because homeboy really fooled me. Oh my god. I'm over there folding clothes because, again, I was barely doing laundry. And I was watching TV and I hear that supposedly AJ might retire. And it wasn't like something that I would look up and to confirm, like, okay, is this really happening? I was just like in the moment with the TV. And I was freaking out only because I thought I was going to be living in the era where AJ Styles is retiring and Kenny Omega is out of in-ring competition. You know, I'm over here like, who do I have to look up to next? Because there's really not much to do. I don't want to be looking up to Cody Rhodes because everybody's looking up to Cody Rhodes. So I still haven't found the right person for me to say, that's right, that's the GOAT of all time. You know, it's going to take a while. But when I was watching the whole segment, I didn't realize that AJ Styles basically picked up a page out of Mark Henry's book. Why? Because homeboy did exactly what Mark Henry did. And even though people are saying, no, Mark Henry was more believable than AJ, I thought, again, AJ was literally fooling me. So basically, it did made it look like, you know, AJ was going to retire. And especially when he was talking about how he got to see his son graduate. And so he was like, that's something I want, this and that. And then supposedly he said that Cody Rhodes whispered in his ear or something saying that, you know, if I call you, will you come out to the ring? And so Cody came out, and trust me, I've been wanting to hear Cody's theme for a while, because again, 2 weeks without hearing the love. So I was like, I need it now, please. So Cody's coming out, and it looks like, you know, AJ was showing his appreciation towards him, especially, you know, making it look like, oh, that last match was one of the greatest match, and the best way to say, you know, bye, whatever. And next thing you know, Cody's over there going to the side of the ring, you know, giving momentum to AJ. And I'm like, I see a pattern going, and I know what's gonna happen. So this is not really AJ's retirement. And then bam, AJ with the cheap shot. And later on, I found a video on TikTok where people were making the comparisons. Literally the same thing that AJ did was basically what Mark Henry did. Even Mark Henry posted on social media like, good job, AJ. Like, you did your man proud, basically. But damn, I'm like, damn, AJ, don't give me a heart attack like that. Because, yeah, sure, he's still going to keep on doing this whole storyline with Cody and still be a heel. But come on, man. It's AJ. So I'm like, okay, I still have somebody to root for. Phew. But I'm glad that this is all I've seen, and now hopefully now we'll be able to catch up on what's been going on for the rest of the wrestling stuff, whether if it's WWE or AEW. So yeah, with that being said, that wraps up this week's episode. Boy howdy, am I just happy that, you know, we finally finished this episode in time. Even though, again, I don't think I'll be able to do our episodes anymore. Because, come on, 2 weeks of content smashed into this episode. And I think the reason why it wasn't as long is because I didn't throw my thoughts on some of these things. But, again, it's just, it's whatever, you know. I gotta keep you guys updated anyways. But I'm pretty sure most of you guys already knew some of these announcements. And for me, you know, I try my best not to ramble about my Mexico trip because, again, the blog is out there. So, as always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And, of course, follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. So, but yeah, definitely go check out that Mexico blog. If not, definitely check out the link tree that's underneath the description of this episode. You will be able to see the link right there. The first thing you will see is watch my Mexico blog. I am really happy that I actually did it. And I'm going to ramble a little bit on it because I freaking edited that video. It really didn't take me a whole week to do it. I kicked it off on Monday, I want to say. And then Tuesday, I was like, okay, let me dedicate this. I didn't even watch NXT. Oh my God. And I didn't even talk about Sexy Red being on NXT. Oh my God. But that's another thing that was happening. I didn't get to see all of NXT, but I know she was there. It was weird, but you know, that's what they do. And so while that was happening, I tried my best to edit that video as much as I could. And I think I only made it to like the 10-minute mark. And then obviously yesterday I was like, fuck this, let me run my errands really quick. And good thing I needed to head out early because Cosmo had a vet appointment because she needed one more vaccine for her. And so because of that, I managed to finish the episode literally at 10 o'clock. And if you guys have not checked it out, it's almost an hour. It's 51 minutes worth of stuff. And I feel like I did prolong it because I did make some commentary, especially when it comes to like artists. And then also like what happened after I arrived to Mexico. If it wasn't for that, maybe that video would have been shorter. But again, it is my first blog, you know, it is a learning experience, but I'm really happy with the edits that I made. And again, if I do happen to make another blog, hopefully, it won't be as long for an hour, but at the same time, it's as entertaining than this one because I will watch it and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe we were there literally last week. That's how you know time flies by really fast. So there's that. But yes, again, go check it out. Go follow my social media. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow the link tree. That's all I gotta say for that. I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. And again, I'm just happy to be back making this episode. So I'm glad to be back to the routine, as much as I hate saying it. But you know, sometimes I do wish I get a longer break from work. But You rest assured you will hear from me again next week. As always, I always get you guys covered with things that you may have missed in pop culture. So with that being said, I will talk to you guys on the next one.